Have you ever walked into a room full of people who think they know you and you felt like a stranger? These people remember an older version of you, a version that may have been trying to figure things out, stumbled, had a lot of kinks to work through. Maybe it was the version that said yes to everything, or the version that said no to everything. But you've changed and you've grown. You've evolved. And now you're standing in this gap between who you were and who you've become. And you may be asking yourself, do I have permission to show the new me? Here's what I want you to hear today. And that's you don't need permission. You just need courage. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about some underrated challenges in entrepreneurship from my perspective. And that's the courage to reintroduce yourself. And it's not just reintroducing yourself to customers. And it's not just about reintroducing yourself to your network or your community. You need to reintroduce yourself to yourself. So whether you're pivoting in business for the first time or after many times, doesn't matter. If you're stepping into a bigger version of your brand and you're ready to come out and express who you are now becoming, then this episode is for you. So let's get into it. Welcome to In My Business, the show where I keep it real about launching and growing a business while juggling family, relationship, community, and everything else in between. I want to pull back the curtain and try to make the chaos make sense. I'm your host, Dr. Tiffany Allen Smith. I'm a business owner, I'm a veteran, a wife, a mom, and a proud member of the I Had to Figure It Out the Hard Way Club. This show is for anyone standing at the edge of entrepreneurship, asking, can I really do this? I'm here to tell you, yes, you can. But let's talk about it first. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of In My Business. Today, I'm talking all about having the courage to reintroduce yourself. So let me start with a story. It's my story, actually. If you've listened to this podcast for a while, then you know that my journey was everything but a straight line. There was a lot of zigzags. Before I went into the military, there was some stuff that I was doing. Then I went into the military and I was a logistics leader. Then I worked in corporate and now I'm a franchise owner. And there are so many other things in between that I've done. But they were all completely different identities, different versions of myself. And here's what nobody told me about evolution. Every time that you level up, you have to reintroduce yourself. And sometimes you're reintroducing yourself to the same people who watched you struggle or thrive in your last chapter. When I transitioned out of the military, I remember walking into this corporate job it was actually one of my dream jobs. And I remember walking into this space and people had no idea what military logistics meant. None whatsoever. Even the language logistics. Logistics, translated corporate speak, is supply chain. I mean, they thought they knew what it was because I was in the military. They saw the uniform or the lack of it and made some assumptions. So I had to learn how to translate my experience into a language that civilian corporate America understood. You know how difficult that was? It was very hard. So I had to reintroduce myself. And when I left corporate and did some other things and became this franchise owner, once again, the script has flipped. Because now I was explaining to people, this is funny. Now I was explaining to people why someone with my credentials would leave a stable career to own a print shop. Seriously. Actually, I'm still answering that question. I get it all the time. What made you want to do this? That's interesting. Why did you choose to do what you're doing right now? But here's the thing. Each time I evolved, I noticed something. The hardest part wasn't the actual change. It wasn't learning new skills or adapting to new environments. The hardest part was giving myself permission to show up as this new version. That was the hardest part because it felt uncomfortable. My first year as a business owner, I was still introducing myself with my old titles. It used to be supply chain. I have a background in corporate and nonprofit and product management and UX. I was leading with who I was instead of who I was becoming. I see so many entrepreneurs, especially the newer ones. I see them do the same exact thing. You've evolved, you've grown, you've absolutely learned things the hard way. Because seriously, that's the only way most of us learn, is the hard way. But you're still introducing yourself with your old story because it feels safe and it feels more believable, I guess, to you. A friend once shared with me that it was really hard for her to embrace being called a doctor after she had completed this work and research. And she had done so much to earn this title. And now that she had it, we were having this conversation and she shared with me and said, Tiffany, it feels like a coat that's too big. It feels like a coat that is too big. That resonated with me because I was feeling the exact same thing. Maybe that's how it feels for you. Like a coat that's too big for you to wear and you're just trying to make it fit, but it doesn't feel like a fit yet. So let me ask you this. If you don't believe in your new story, why would anyone else? My why for entrepreneurship has evolved. It's taken on different levels and different versions. The first reason, of course, was that independence and that flexibility. I've shared that in previous podcasts. I wanted to be able to control my own time, to have the flexibility and the freedom to move as I saw fit. And then it became about community. And I wanted to be able to build something that served the people around me. And now it's about legacy. Because now I want to create something that outlasts me. Something that can still live on even after I have pivoted or left or transitioned. So that's 3 different whys for the same business, 3 different stories. And I've had to reintroduce myself at each of those stages. It wasn't because I was pretending before. It was because I was becoming. So let's talk about the fear, because I know it's there. There's a fear of being able to reintroduce yourself. And this fear shows up in a few interesting ways. So maybe some of these things will sound familiar. Fear number 1. What if people think I'm being fake? I mean, that's an honest question. Because you're worried that if you show up differently, you have new messaging, you have new confidence, new offers, new hairdo, new outfits, whatever. The people will think that you're putting on this act, that you're being inauthentic, right? But here's the thing. Staying the same when you've changed? Seriously, that's the act. If you're pretending to be the same after you know you've changed, then that's the act. Because growth isn't fake. Evolution isn't fake. Refusing to let people see your progress because you're worried about their reaction? Are you serious? That's being inauthentic. But here's the thing. You're being inauthentic to yourself. All right. Let's move on. Fear number 2. What if I'm not ready? Hear me when I say that you will never, ever, ever feel 100% ready to step into a bigger version of yourself. Never. You may be 99%, but you will never be 100%. There will always be some sort of nervousness, hesitation, anxiety, all of those things. Readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. You have to decide to do it. When I decided to step into being a keynote speaker, I absolutely wasn't sitting around feeling ready. I was asked. I did not see the things that they saw in me at the time. I did not see. And I didn't feel ready. I was nervous as heck. I mean, anxiety on 1,000. But I decided that my message mattered more than those nerves. And guess what? I showed up. I walked up to that podium, nervous and shaking. And I did it. The readiness came after I made the decision to do it. After I walked up to that podium to deliver what I had to say. Not before. All right, so let's talk about number 3. What about the people who knew me before? This is a big one. What about your old clients who remember when you were not charging a lot of money? What about the colleagues who saw you struggle, who had to help you and assist you with learning how to do this new thing, develop this new process, organize this new system? What about the family members who still ask, so how's your little side venture going? You know, sometimes family, oh my God, sometimes they are so petty because they'll put that little in front of it. How's your little business going? But here's something. Some people in your life are assigned to your past. And they were there for you for a season. So those employees that helped you learn this new thing, they were there for a season. And they'll see you on LinkedIn. They'll see you shine. And hopefully they'll be proud of you because they've helped to mentor you to get to that level. But they may not be able to come with you. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. It's called a transition. But there are also people who need to see you grow. They're rooting for you. They've invested in you. They want to see you succeed. And they're just waiting for you to give them this new version of yourself. Because sometimes people see things in you that you don't see in yourself. Like I mentioned a little earlier, when someone approached me to speak, it was because they saw something in me that I did not see in myself. And this, I'm sure, is also true for you. So give yourself the permission to show up and to reintroduce yourself. All right, so I have another story. This one isn't about me. It's about someone that I know. And I'm going to call her Monica. Monica started her business. It was a side hustle, right? It was a little side hustle. And she was doing some freelance work, designing, website designing, consultation, branding. And she was a solopreneur. So she worked from her home. She didn't have any overhead. And she was charging friend and family rates. So very deeply discounted rates because she didn't feel legit yet and wanted to use her network to build her portfolio. All right, so fast forward, it's been some years, and now Monica has these solid skills. She has had all this experience working with people from a host of different industries. She's taken courses. She's gotten the certification. She understands how to use these new branding tools and software. She has all of that. She's gotten real results, real proven results from clients. And now she has this strong portfolio. But every time she tries to raise her prices or position herself differently as this professional, she hears her family, "Why are you charging so much?" Her friends, "Man, that's a lot. Can I keep the same rate I was getting a couple years ago?" She's still trying to introduce herself with this little business. Even though she has a bigger business, she has overhead, a team, an actual portfolio, seriously. But even though she has all of this, that's not the problem. It's not her skills, it's her story. Because she's still telling people that she has this small design business. She still tell people that she is still trying to build her portfolio. She has a portfolio. She's still using some of that old language because it feels safe. Does Monica's story sound slightly familiar? Because if you've done the work, you've put in the hours, you've learned the business, you've learned the lessons, often through a lot of intense struggle, aka the hard way. But if you're still introducing yourself with those original qualifiers of, "I'm just a small business owner, I only have a few clients, I'm still trying to figure it out," stop. Please stop. Because you're allowed to claim your growth and you're absolutely allowed to show up as who you have become. Step out of who you used to be, because that's how you're going to build your business. That's how you're going to successfully reintroduce yourself. All right. I'm going to take a quick break, but when I come back, I want to talk about visibility, because reintroducing yourself isn't just about this mindset. It's not about being seen. It takes some strategy. All right. So here's a word from our sponsors. I'll see you after the break. Have you ever noticed how some businesses just pop? You see their flyers, their banners, even their business cards, and you instantly think, okay, they've got it together. Well, that's not luck. That's printing done right. Here at PostNet Graphic Design and Printing, we're in the business of helping your business look amazing. So whether it's bold signage that turns heads, brochures that people actually keep, or business cards that are so sharp they don't end up in the trash, we've got you covered. And the best part? Our graphic design team helps bring your vision to life, so your brand feels as professional, polished, and unforgettable as you are. Because let's face it, when your prints stand out, you stand out. Visit our website at postnetshorewood.com or on Facebook and LinkedIn at postnetshorewood, and let's make something amazing together. If you're enjoying this episode, I want to invite you to join Dr. Tiff's community on Substack. That's where I share articles, certain prompts, bonus content. It goes deeper than what we will cover here on this podcast. And you can find it at drtiffscommunity.substack.com. Subscribing is completely free. There's no charge. Also, I want to point out that if you're interested in sponsoring this podcast and getting your brand in front of entrepreneurs who are building something meaningful, I want you to visit drtiffscommunity.com, click on that sponsor button, and let's continue to make something amazing together. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right. So we've talked about this fear. We put that out there. Now I want to talk about the strategy, because there's this visibility that has to happen, and that requires some clarity. Let me explain what I mean. When you're reintroducing yourself, whether it's to your existing network or to a new audience, you need to be crystal clear. Let me give you 3 things. 1, what's changed? Because you need to be able to articulate how you've evolved. Not in a defensive way, like you're apologizing for growing. I want you to do it in a way that's confident, a way that has ownership of where you are. So something like, I used to focus on that. Now I specialize in this. Or when I started, I was serving that type of client. Now I work with this type of client. All right, so here's another one. My business has evolved from that to a full service operation where we specialize in this. I hope this makes sense. The idea is, I want you to say it plainly, but say it proudly. Say it with confidence and own it. All right, so here's number 2, being crystal clear. I talked about what changed. Now, I want you to talk about why it matters. And you can use this in your social media story. So why it matters. Your reintroduction is not just about you. It is about you. But there are other entities that are going to be directly impacted from this introduction. And that's also the people that you serve. You want them to know what you do, who you are. But how does this benefit them? People need to know what's in it for them. And that's why it matters. And that's why it's so important that you position yourself correctly and strategically, because you want to be able to answer that so that no one asks you, what's in it for me? And they won't say it that way, but it'll come out that way. So I need you to be equipped to help them even more now than you ever were. When I talk about my transitions in my professional career, I don't just talk about what I've learned. I talk about how those experiences have made me a better resource for other business owners, for people who are trying to make the chaos make sense. Your evolution is going to serve your audience because you have all of these different experiences that you now need to incorporate into your new brand, the new version of yourself. Right? So why it matters. People need to know why it matters. And that why should also ask or answer what's in it for them. All right, so you've talked about what's changed, why this change matters. And now I want you to talk about what you want people to do with this information. Let's call it a call to action. You're reintroducing yourself, sharing this story, updating things, you're updating your bio. I want you to just stop. Don't just do that. Because then that's just noise. You're just filling a space. What do you want people to do with that? Do you want them to book a consultation with you? Do you want them to refer someone to you? Do you want people to reach out to you with new offers? I don't know, follow you on a new platform. Just be clear about what you want people to do and make it really easy for them to be able to do it. If you say book a call, but you don't have your phone number listed, then that's not easy. If you say follow me on my new platform, but you don't have a button there to follow you, that's not easy. You're making people do more work. So just make it easy if that's what you want to do. And here's something that I talked about in some of my marketing episodes. The customer journey has changed so drastically. It used to take 7 touch points to convert a customer. It used to be the power of 7. Now we're looking at 28 or more because people are so fragmented. Their attention is everywhere. We're looking at things in bite-sized reels. We're scrolling up and looking at completely different things, right? So one reel is a cooking show. The next reel is how to do your hair. The next reel is someone falling off of a ski lift. We're looking at completely different things. And you have to get creative on how you're going to capture someone's attention to make them perform that action. right? It also means you can't just do it once. You can't just come out with this reintroduction post and expect everyone to get it, remember it, and remember what you do. It's going to take you doing it consistently. This is your new story, and you're going to have to do it consistently across multiple channels. And over time, the goal is for it to be sticky. I talk to customers a lot about the benefits of doing a bulk mail marketing campaign or every door direct mailer, EDDM. I have clients who have relocated their businesses. They used to be on the corner of this street, and now they're on the corner of that street. Other than putting the sign up on the door, there are other ways to connect with your client base or potential new customers and let them know. And one of those are bulk mailers. But here's the thing. When we design and print these mailers and send them out, people expect immediate results. And so then a week after they've been sent out, 2 weeks after they've been sent out, they're calling and saying, I haven't seen a customer. Where are the customers? So now what I tell people, even before they do this, because a lot of people have never done it before, is when you do this, this is an investment that you will have to make consistently in order to see true results. Just like you can't put a post on social media and expect that to be immediate revenue. You have to consistently post, consistently do these things. You also have to do it in this format as well. So you're reaching them on social media. Now you're reaching them in their mailbox. And that's something that you have to do in tandem, not just once. So maybe every few months, do it again and do it again. We're looking at 28 touch points now. So it's not just one and done anymore. You have to get creative on how you're going to rebuild, reintroduce, rebrand yourself. And you have to do it in very fragmented ways because your audience most likely is very fragmented. So again, one LinkedIn post announcing that your business is growing and you're a different person, that's not enough. You're going to need to introduce this new identity into everything that you do. That's a part of the ownership. So let me get practical for a second. If you're serious about reintroducing yourself, you need to do some audits. Let's start with that bio. When was the last time you updated your bio? Does it reflect who you are now or who you were 2 years ago? Don't just have AI update your bio for you. Some people can read through the AI fluff. Use it to complement your bio, not to fully create it, because no one knows you like you. Here's another one. Your website. If you have a website, same question. When was the last time you updated it? Is it telling your current story or is it telling the older story? Your elevator pitch. If someone asked you right now what you do, are you leading with how you've evolved? Or are you continuously using what you used to do? Work on that elevator pitch. Work on your content. If you're creating content that still reflects the older version of your business, of yourself, who you used to serve, that's going to stop you from seeking the clients that you now want to serve, your new customer targets. And here's the last one, because this one is tricky. This one is hard. It's hard. It's so hard. That's pricing. When you reintroduce yourself, you need to reintroduce your rates. Reintroduce your rates, folks. Because your prices need to reflect your current value, not your startup value. And you can't expect people to see you differently if everything that they experience about you still connects back to who you used to be, what you used to do. All right, so before we wrap up, I want to give you some quick fire self-check questions. These are prompts for reflection and things I want you to sit with after the episode. So get ready. Here are my quick fire round of questions, self-check style. Question 1. What's the biggest way you've evolved in the last year? And have you told anyone about it? Question 2. When you introduce yourself professionally, are you leading with your past performance or your present performance? Question 3. Is there a version of yourself that you've been afraid to claim publicly? Why? Question 4. Who in your life do you need to reintroduce yourself to? Is it a client? Is it a colleague? A family member? Yourself? Who? Is it all of them? My last question. What would change in your business if you started to show up as the person that you're becoming instead of the person that you used to be? Those questions aren't easy, but they're necessary. Because if you don't reintroduce yourself, it's just private progress. And private progress is not going to build your business. I want to leave you with this. Reintroducing yourself isn't just about your own personal confidence. It has a lot to do with that. It's a marketing move. And every time you or your business evolve, you want to show that evolution. You want to show that you're growing. You want to attract new clients or customers who resonate with your current message. It's okay to maintain former clients, long-term, loyal clients. That's okay. But you want to attract new business as well. And so you have to reposition yourself to do that. You're also filtering out the people who were never your ideal audience anyway. That's a whole nother episode. Because sometimes we do these things for people who are not going to support us anyway. What are we doing? Okay, I'll move on. I want you to start building trust by demonstrating that you're growing. You want to work with people who appreciate your experience and your expertise and the fact that you can continue to grow in an ever-changing climate, in an ever-changing economy, that you're still growing. You want to be, that's something to be proud of. Your customers are going to really appreciate the fact that you are being transparent about your evolution. And that takes courage. You've done a lot of hard things before. I mean, you're navigating the chaos of entrepreneurship. That's hard. And you figured things out when nobody gave you a roadmap. You can do this. You're the version of you that you're becoming. And this is the version that your business needs. All right, so that's all I have for you today. If this episode hits home for you, I want you to do something. I want you to share it with another entrepreneur who needs to hear this. Someone who is stuck, or someone who is scared and they've been hiding behind who they used to be. Send them this episode and let them know that it is time for them to make a reintroduction. And while you're at it, leave a review for the podcast. It's going to help other entrepreneurs just like you find me, and it lets me know that this content is landing the way that I hope it does. If you want to go deeper on topics like this, join the community on Substack at drtiffscommunity.substack.com. That's where I share articles, prompts, bonus content, all for free. And you can also connect with me on Instagram, Facebook /Meta at Dr. Tiff's Community. So until next time, entrepreneurs, keep going and keep growing. This is Dr. Tiff, and you've been listening to In My Business. Until next time. Thanks for being in my business. If this episode made you nod, think, or resonated with you in any way, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget, leave me a review, share some questions, subscribe to the channel. We've got more to talk about.